Not sure if you all know this, but Adrian and I both have YouTube channels. My YouTube channel, if you can please subscribe, is Nevermore Records. Adrian's is Plastic Realm Toys. You can also follow us on Instagram at HNH_podcast and find us on Facebook. We even have a private group. Just send a request and we'll let you in. Follow our recording studio on Instagram at Nevermore_records_EPTX and our guitar company on Instagram at Nevermore_guitars. I mean, you consider yourself an HM2 band?
I consider myself a Wolverine Blues hardcore band, yes.
Yeah.
And I say that because it's in vein of what that album was. Like,
and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Half and Half Podcast.
Hey. So we got a special guest here.
Super excited. Yep.
quote unquote special.
Before we get started really quick, I just wanted to send a quick shout out to Hero Music, which is where we're located. And Hero Music, if you're a musician, if you're into audio, located, one of our studios is located inside Hero Music, the music store of El Paso. So yeah, check it out. 1700 Zaragoza. There's also another one off the freeway. If you are looking for, especially, I know I was talking to the dudes over there, and they were talking about they're gonna have some really good Black Friday sales. So
oh yeah, Hero has saved my ass a number of times.
They were your hero?
Dude. Yeah, a number of times.
So yeah, if you're listening and you're looking for any of that stuff, gear, head on over to Hero Music in El Paso.
That's right.
All right.
Check them out.
So we have a special guest today. So let me say something about our guest before we get started. As you know, as our listeners know, we're very selective about who we have on here.
Yeah.
And it's not like out of arrogance or anything.
No,
it's literally just that when we do this, it's very special to us.
Right.
Our podcast time, our moments, since we do it twice, sometimes 3 times a month. And so we have to be very careful about, we have a lot to say to each other. So when we fill those gaps with guests, we want to make sure they're quality guests. And when I met Marco, who I met through my brother, Eric Ward, thank you.
The legendary Eric Ward, by the way. Lord Eric.
Just, 3 things stand out. Like, one, something that we didn't talk about while we were in the control room. You're almost like a long-time vegan. You're a trained jiu-jitsu fighter, a guitar player, but also a left-handed guitar player. But we'll get into that right now.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyways.
I'm excited to hear that one because you told me about that one.
Yeah.
It's quite the introduction. Thank you.
Marco, guitar player for the band Saberwolf, is just like an all-around, I want to get to know this guy more.
Yeah.
Because everything about you is just fucking cool as shit.
Yeah,
so thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Yes, absolutely. I've only been in your presence for 20 minutes. I'm already like, this is the dude.
Thank you, brother. Thanks.
So, Marco, born and raised in El Paso?
Yes, born and raised in El Paso, Northeast El Paso my whole life. Went to Parkland.
Nice.
From here. Mm-hmm.
So, have you ever ventured out and come back, or are you just kind of primarily stationed here for life?
I've always.
Not that that's a
here.
bad thing, by the way.
No. I've always. I think it's bad if you don't go out of your way to travel. Actually, if you don't go on tour or whatever it might be, visiting somewhere else, because I feel like you just stay complacent. You stay ignorant, actually, I think, in a lot of ways, and you might not realize it at that time. But you're intaking things from different towns, different cultures, and bringing that back here. And I think that's important because that makes you who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I feel like some of the best, most intellect, most well-cultured people are the most traveled people.
And the least racist.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, dude. For sure.
If you come from a place that has so much culture, I think you're gonna see less of those kind of things. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, but I think in a place where you don't really see a lot of that, you build a lot more ignorance.
Right. Yeah, of course. No, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
That's why those dense racist places throughout the world are usually the people that are just been there their whole lives and don't know anything else.
Stuck
So
there.
it's one of those things. But I'm a big into politics guy, and he's not. So
You know what's funny? I'm really not either. I'm not a big politics guy, and I think I should get into it. Sometimes I think about it, but sometimes I have this thought in my head. I'm like, I think the world is so... Our life is so short for me to be worried about bullshit a lot of the time.
Dude, I agree. That's perfect example. Number two, I'm a stay in my own lane type of dude, right? Like you say gray, I say black, whatever, man. I sleep well at night. So if I kind of believe a little bit of yours, I kind of believe a little bit of yours. Well,
we're good, right?
That's my shit. You know what I mean?
And I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword, like for me because of my job. So like I teach college, in the evenings, and so I have to know. So I teach like war and culture. I
had no idea. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Okay.
So I have to always be up to date about kind of what's going on in the world to make those connections to the past. So it's one of those things. But honestly, I kind of wish that I didn't know what I know, if that makes sense, because it kind of makes you a little bit jaded.
Yeah.
And it makes you very frustrated with just the world,
And especially with everything going on now, like all the war and stuff, whatever, dude, it makes me feel like, dude, this is just my opinion. I feel like the world is fucked, bro. Like, like there's always going to be war no matter what. The humanity is going to end itself in some way. Humanity is truly like, I think we're our own worst enemy in every way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We are
100%,
Satan.
dude. Yeah. Yeah, man. But
the devil.
No, but I mean, I really appreciate the fact that you're somebody of your intellect, somebody of like your thinking, stays here in El Paso, because I feel like a lot of people, especially our listeners that aren't from El Paso, we lose a lot of good people, because sometimes El Paso can be one of those places that makes you feel like there's got to be more, and but you know what? The people that do stick around or venture out and come back and kind of allow their minds, so to speak, to be a part of El Paso, good things start to happen. A good example is like one of my business partners, Pepe, who owns Let There Be Rock School. Like if that dude stayed in LA, like that school wouldn't be here, and that school is making a huge impact in the community.
Absolutely.
There's just things like that is what I'm talking about. So anyways, I appreciate the fact that you're here and you're able to be here with us.
No, for sure, dude. I'm just some dude, you know what I mean?
A cool fucking dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
So did you have anything you wanted to touch on before we really get into it? Because I know we always do our catching up.
Oh, our typical catching up. Actually, no, I didn't write anything. I didn't have any ideas because I didn't want to.
Yeah, I didn't want to take away
his shine.
Exactly. But of course, like we had mentioned to Marco, like this is a conversation that we like to have. We don't want to like drill you with questions. Although I do have a lot of questions
you can
for you.
I have one. I have one in particular that I'm dying to know.
Yeah. Because you seem all like ready to go.
Okay, you're left-handed, right?
Oh,
you right, left-handed, all of it, right? Like you are left-handed.
So yes. So weird story. My uncle was really obsessed with he was just a like a genuine metalhead guy, whatever. And he grew up with like Slayer, Metallica, all those like gateway bands, whatever. But he liked Entombed a lot too, which is weird. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he eventually denounced all that kind of stuff. Later on, became hardcore, like a Christian and stuff, whatever. But became a blues player.
Oh wow!
So I remember being a kid at my grandma's house because I grew up at her house, whatever, with like with my two uncles, my aunt, whatever, my mom, and I would sneak into his room and play his guitar when he wasn't there because he'd get pissed at me if I went into his room at any time, dude.
Right.
He was either always working out or doing something. And growing up without a father, seeing him how he was, I picked up on a lot of his shit. You know what I mean? So I sneak into his room and I would just like push his guitar onto me, whatever. But I started playing a left-handed, but reverse left-handed. So I don't even have the strings properly left-handed. It's right-handed, so I just flip a right-handed one
over.
Yeah.
Wow.
And to this day,
I'm gonna move this mic closer to you.
Oh, you're good.
To this day, that's how you play, right? You play.
Yes.
The guitar is, for anybody without all the technical terms, it is upside down.
Yes,
You
upside
play
down.
upside down.
A left-handed guitar, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
See, what intrigued me about that is I'm left-handed also. All the good ones are. And when my dad first bought me a bass, I put it like this, and he was like, "No, it's wrong." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's wrong? This is how it feels." He said, "No." And I was like, "So I'm supposed to play it like this? I don't know how to play like this." And he basically told me, "Fucking figure it out." So I'm a right-handed musician, but everything else, when I train in boxing, writing, everything is left-handed other than music.
That's weird how you bring that up because when I write, I'm left-handed. When I eat, I use my right hand. When I play soccer, my power leg is my right leg.
Oh wow,
You know
that's
what I mean?
interesting.
When I do
Yeah.
boxing or when I like stand and do shit, you know what I mean?
Is it right-handed?
It's right-handed.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Right away, saw your hands.
So weird. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Weird as fuck.
So, how did you know that you were doing it wrong? Like not wrong, but like that it
Yeah.
was upside down. I mean, it was it's wrong to everybody else, but to you, it was right. So
It was weird because I knew I was playing it wrong, but I was getting everything down that I was being shown that way. So when I would play right-handed or actually proper like left-handed, it didn't come out the same. So I just wanted to go back to being comfortable to how I'm used to it
right
because of my uncle's shit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, because of my uncle's guitars and how they were strung, and because it was a right-handed guitar, I just happened to have gotten used to playing that way.
That's crazy. I don't even think I've ever turned a guitar upside down to see what it would feel like.
It's weird because it feels so foreign to me now when the thick strings are on the very top, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Dude?
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
feel like I'm learning how to play again.
Right.
So if
yeah.
somebody were to hand you an actual left-handed guitar,
I'd be like, I don't know what the
It's
fuck.
weird, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I can't even play my own songs on this shit. You know what I mean? It's
Wow,
weird.
dude. I need to see that. I need to hand you a guitar.
I've tried to teach myself how to play bass left-handed. So of course I don't have a left-handed bass, so everything's upside down, and that's the part that trips me out. You know what I mean?
And to learn how to palm mute backwards was such a fucking issue, bro.
Oh wow.
Because
yeah,
I didn't know
think
how to
about
do that. So if you ever listen to the first like Saberwolf stuff, whatever, there's no palm muting at all, really.
Really?
Because I had to learn how to. It took me a couple of years to
Yeah.
really learn how to get it down properly backwards.
That makes sense. Wow. That's interesting.
That's dedication, man. Because most people would have been like, "I'm just gonna get the right."
I'm fucking done. But that's the beauty of playing like hardcore and stuff, whatever, is that you don't need to know, you don't need to be technical and do all this crazy shit. You're only playing like 3 chords and that's a fucking song. Even 2 chords, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think that was the beauty of me starting in a hardcore band, is that like I grew as a musician while I was playing this genre.
Right.
And then that made me love death metal more, because I started saying, oh, you know what, I want to get better at this. So I started getting influenced by more of that, or even like past musicians like a Randy Rhoads. I'm like, damn, I want to play like somewhat of that. You know what I mean? A little, like just a tiny bit of that. And even now I can't at all, but it's an influence of me that pushes me to get better at playing and making more notes, and instead of just doing like 3 chords. You know what I mean?
Of course. So then that makes me ask the question. That means that most of the music that you do know of other artists, you had to learn by ear, because you can't just go pick up a tab, and it's hard. I would imagine it's harder to flip it around. So you've been forced to kind of have to learn by ear.
Yeah, I had to learn by ear. So Pelican was pretty much the band that I first listened to that I was trying to imitate, because I'm like, this is simple post-rock, post-metal stuff. I could try to imitate it. And that's when I first got my guitar, I was trying to imitate that, and I was 18 years old. So I was playing prior to that, but like not seriously, like, you know what I mean? Like it was just kind of things that I dabbled in, and I would play like one of Metallica or some stupid shit, like, bullshit, whatever. But when I really try to pick it up and try to be serious about it, that's the band that I try to imitate the most, Pelican.
Okay.
And I think Knife Party was the first song I learned how to play from Deftones and stuff, whatever. Yeah. And
I knew. I was like, where is that from? Oh yeah, Deftones.
first song I ever learned how to play, because it's like ding 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 ding. You know what I mean? It's the same chord, but you're just moving your fingers slightly to the side and then back.
Yeah.
So once I got that down, that was really my key to learning how to play by myself because I'm okay. If I could play Knife Party, okay, so it must be not that. It's probably not that different if I can play this, you know.
Right, that makes sense.
So that's when I started to write shit, you know.
So when you play live, do a lot of people notice?
Some people notice. I think they get weirded out.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure most of it are musicians that notice, right?
I think it's mostly musicians and mostly people from touring bands. Yeah, they're like, dude, like, how the fuck do you do that? I'm like, I don't even know, bro. I've been doing this so long that you know, it's very natural to me, dude. I can't play guitar any other way.
Yeah,
I truly can't, dude. Like it's. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it's pretty close to that because I'm so used to just doing that. You know what I mean?
So if you ever wanted to learn a song that's very chord heavy, right, like a G chord, D chord,
good luck. Good luck to myself. It's horrible.
Are there other musicians that you all are aware of that plays that
No.
same way?
not me. I don't know.
One of the King artists. What's his name? There's BB King. There's
Oh, okay.
Albert King.
Oh, okay.
Albert King plays that way.
Really?
Albert King,
Really?
yeah.
Huh.
Albert King's a bad motherfucker, dude.
Yeah.
He's sick, dude.
Wow.
And I wouldn't have been exposed to any of that if it wasn't for my uncle, you know, because my uncle was super heavy into Albert King, BB King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and all stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
And I have a picture in my head of right now of him doing that whole backwards thing, whatever, where he puts the guitar behind his head and shit, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
My uncle took that exact photo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So go
sorry.
ahead. No, go. You go.
So that kind of leads me to my next question. When we speak to people who are into hardcore and metal and black metal and stuff like that,
You read my mind.
One
I was
of-
going to ask the same fucking thing.
one of my favorite questions to know is, right, because we all love metal, right? But sometimes you get tired of it. Outside of metal, what other genre is your favorite genre, or another non-metal artist?
Definitely like hip hop, trance, ambient music. I love a lot of ambient music, actually.
Hell yeah.
He's a big hip hop dude.
You're a big
Hip-hop
hip hop
and
dude.
trance and DJ stuff.
Gangstar.
Oh, shit.
Gangstar is my favorite hip hop group of all time, dude.
Yes.
And I feel like hip hop and hardcore go hand in hand.
Thank you.
They do.
We had this conversation
Yeah,
one
we
time.
did.
They have there's a message always, right?
Yes.
In hardcore and all stuff, and in hip hop too, and in real hip hop, you know what I mean? But
Keyword.
real. And I say that in terms of like the origin of what it started as.
Right.
You know, not really flaunting like how much money you have now and shit like
Right.
that. Like it's cool and all if you want to, you know, hear that kind of shit. But I'm saying in terms of like an artist that isn't really about the imagery so much, but is about a message.
Right.
I think that's important. You know?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
It's I think you and I had a kind of a brief conversation about this, about like the connection between like Brooklyn hardcore rap and like the Brooklyn hardcore scene,
Mhm.
like how there's like even like this meshing of like band members that have done the jump back and forth. They do hip hop and then they're doing a hardcore band, and it's really, I mean, when you look at it, even if you look at the way people look in those scenes, like you can't tell one from the other.
Right.
They're just the same.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So hip hop, what other artists do you come to mind when you think hip hop?
For hip hop, P-Rock and CL Smooth.
Yes. You're taking some old
Group
school
Home.
good shit. Yeah.
I like all that shit, dude. All that shit's fucking dope. A lot of like jazz hip hop stuff too, like New Jabez and stuff like that.
Yeah.
New Jabez is bad, dude.
Yeah.
He's pretty much the Jay Dilla of Japan.
Okay.
He's fucking dope, and he kind of records his own instruments and stuff. Whatever, he'll do a lot like a hip hop beat over it kind of thing, you know, whatever. He's a dope dude. But I got into New Jabez when I was like in high school, dude.
Okay. Wow, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did anybody get you into that, or how did you discover that genre?
Dave Mira, BMX2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gangstar
dude.
was
Hell
on there.
Yeah.
Moment of Truth is still one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah.
And that song was on the soundtrack for that game.
That's like Tony Hawk did that too, man.
Tony Hawk got a lot of people into punk, I'm sure, too, and
dude.
like a lot of fucking people. But so my entrance into hip hop was that game. Dude,
Wow,
because of that
dude.
song. Yeah,
That's really fucking cool.
Thanks,
I
Sar.
like that connection, man.
a moment of truth. Yeah.
So influence-wise in your own playing, I know you've mentioned you've thrown out like blues players, you know, the hip hop, but like I know we spoke about Entomb, but like if you had to directly say like, you know what, like whenever there's this a couple of a band or two or three or whatever that just they really kind of help me to drive my style, who would that be for you?
Bo from Harm's Way. He has a really cool style that I've tried to. That's been really influential for our band.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Broderick from Godflesh.
Okay.
He's weird. He has like this weird little arch and does this shit and like he plays, but he's like amazing and he plays like post metal. He does like ambient stuff, hip hop stuff. Godflesh is like a heavy ass band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So I would say Justin Broderick, Bo, Lutters. I think is his last name. And then I would say, Jesus, another because those are the two. Oh, you know what? Harley Flanagan. I like his aggression when he's playing. I know he plays a bass and shit, whatever, but like, just like his nastiness of just being in person live, like, he's an aggressive person.
Yeah.
And he brings that out as his, not even a persona on stage, because that's how he actually is, you know what I mean? And I just feel like bringing that energy to a live show is
right.
like, is important.
Yeah,
you know, he keeps that he's not putting an act. That's
right.
how he really is.
Yeah.
And I like that when he plays bass, he's playing like aggressively. He's like in your face and like he means it. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like yelling and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I think it's a combination of those three: Bo, Justin, and Harley.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that we always talk about is that live performance element that a lot of bands miss the mark on.
Big time.
You know, and that live performance to be able to give off that energy that you feel from the music, it's huge. It's so big. So I mean, I'm sure I've never seen you guys live. Are you guys playing live anytime soon? Because I would love to see you guys.
We're playing on the 29th of this month with Frozen Soul.
I will see you, dude. I will see you because I'll be there for sure.
Yeah. Frozen Soul, we knew those guys from San Antonio from way back in the day because we played some like weird ass fucking little like bar house kind of place, whatever. And this is before they like really blew up, dude. So like we played to like 10 people, I think. It was Plague Years, Frozen Soul, and us. And bro, like they blew the fuck up and they deserve it, man. Like those guys work hard. They're cool ass dudes, man.
Yeah. They're headlining that tour, right?
And they're like the hype death metal band right now. Like everybody like damn, dude. Like that band is on every tour now, like doing a bunch of cool ass shit. Like it's fucking dope seeing like friends of yours, people who you know that were playing that shit, like make it big like that.
Yeah,
dude.
of course.
It's so fucking cool. Dude.
Yeah,
It makes me feel like one of us finally made it through. You know
right, exactly.
Yeah,
cool absolutely, man. I had a question and I forgot it. I don't know. You got something on you?
And I was gonna say something right now too, and I forgot what the fuck
I
was gonna
dude.
say, dude.
I was about to say, I have a really interesting connection to Frozen Soul, but I can't get into it. I can't spill any beans. But yeah, but I will be there at that show.
Okay.
So, dude, I can't wait.
And then we're also playing XBCX on December 2nd too.
Oh, okay.
And that's with a couple of bands. That's like with a Barbarian. I think it's their 15-year as a band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, badass, man.
15 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting connection too, because I know you're friends with the Barbarian guys. Hector, actually, who I bought my Kemper from. So it's just weird because like my brother, he's spoken about you guys and Barbarian for a long time, and then now meeting Andy, for example, and like just weird how El Paso's a small place.
Well,
and
David and Hector are my best friends.
Oh, okay.
David's more like my big brother.
Right.
He'll roast me all the time for like the dumbest shit. We'll get into little like arguments about nothing. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
And Hector, I feel like is like the guy that's never done those kind of things, but has always been there with me. You know what I mean? Whatever. So he feels like my best friend. You know what I mean? But they both are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course.
But me and David just fight like big brothers and stuff or like brothers and stuff, you know, whatever. Hector, my family was friends with Hector's family and Ruben's family in the 60s in Juarez.
Oh, wow.
And they were partying it up over there.
Yeah.
And then they miraculously moved in the Northeast next to each other in the 90s.
Oh, shit.
Or sorry, 1988, I think, around there. And we were pretty much conceived around the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, man.
So my grandparents are Hector's parents' age, and my mom had me super young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to say she was 17 years old.
Okay.
And so she had me super young. So when Hector was born, I was born around the like same time. So our families have been friends for generations, bro.
Oh, wow.
That's
Generations.
awesome.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Hector because you know what? So I've been doing music production for a very long time. And I've always gotten over the years a lot of metal bands that come to me, and a lot of people just don't know how to produce metal. But dude, when I heard your guys' stuff and I heard Barbarian, I was like, who's doing this shit? And then I met Hector. I actually went to go when I bought the Kemper. It was just weird that we right away made the connection between Eric and the bands and stuff. And dude, like his quality is there, dude. Like it's so good, dude. And I don't normally shout out other local studios, not out of a competitive thing, but out of a like the quality's just not there. And so it's like I feel like I don't know. So but anyways,
True Fury
dude,
Audio.
dude, his shit is on point, man. So like your guys' recordings, if you guys haven't listened to Saberwolf or Barbarian, it's Barbarian Texas, I think, right? On Spotify.
Yeah, TX.
And Saberwolf is WULF,
Yes,
right?
there you go.
Man, it's good shit, dude.
Thank you,
It's
man.
good
It
shit.
really is. Since we're gonna, that's like a perfect segue. The song "Endless,"
Endless.
dude. When it goes from all that heavy to that fucking pretty bridge,
Yeah.
and then it gets heavy again to that really pretty ending, dude. I fucking got chills, man.
Well, it's kind of weird that I actually improvised that part when I first played it, and then I wanted to keep it. I think our band, since we had Marty in the band, Marty's our drummer. Marty's been in our band since 2016, I want to say.
Okay.
And he was always supposed to be our drummer, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He was married at the time when we first started the band. And he was going through a bunch of shit, whatever. But when he was able to play again, he came for us. You know what I mean? And ever since then, I feel like prior to Marty, me and David always had like let me say this: we were always bumping heads because I wanted to sound a certain way. I wanted to do this and that, whatever. And you know how some bands, like when they start a band, they know exactly how they want to sound like, and they blow the fuck up because they all come from like past like bands that did it well, whatever
Right.
kind of shit, whatever.
Uh-huh.
We weren't that band. We kind of like, I grew as a musician in this band. I grew as a person in this band. I went through a lot of shit growing up through this band as I had this band. Our sound and our influences had changed a lot. Well, not really our influences so much, but like we grew in style with the band. So Saberwolf's very much a hardcore punk band. I want to say it's a metallic hardcore band mixed with a Swedish a death metal band.
Oh, okay. I
And
can
that's
see that.
and that's the harmony that we have.
I can for sure see that.
Yeah.
Because we love Earth Crisis and well, me, I love Earth Crisis. I love Entombed. So it's kind of like a combination of those two.
Yeah. Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And how long you guys been together?
2011.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time, dude.
Yeah, dude,
that's
that is.
awesome.
It's
Wow.
a fucking long time, bro. There was a little break in between, I want to say, like for a couple years, but
So I remember playing shows with Earth Crisis, and I remember at that time it was weird because, well, it was weird to me at the time. The singer, he was vegan, if I remember correctly, like straight edge vegan, and so that kind of brings me to like to you. You're also vegan, and that's another thing too, right? Didn't you tell me that like
Yeah.
you've never had like a drop of alcohol in your life?
So I drank a little bit before I was 18, but I was around a lot of dudes that were straight edge, and I feel like my entire life has been kind of leading toward that, like being that way, whatever. Because my father was a alcoholic, and my aunts from that from that side, they were all alcoholics. My grandparents were alcoholics. So,
Wow.
and my stepmom, who was married to my father, she used to always say that men in my family are cursed,
Oh wow. Okay.
and it's because they drank.
because that stuck with you,
She thinks because of the alcohol, they were
Right.
all cursed.
right?
So I just made a vow when I was 18, an oath to being sober. You know what I mean? My whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't broke that, and it's been 14 years now. So every
Wow.
New Year's, it's another year. So but at the end of this year, it's gonna be 15 now.
That's
Crazy.
amazing, man. And you've been vegan for how long?
I want to say 5-6 years. Yeah.
So we'll get into the veganism stuff. So the alcohol stuff, that kind of stuck with you as a kid, I'm assuming, and it just kind of
Yeah, this is a guy that like, pretty much was doing drugs, was like beating on my mom here and there, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, not to get super serious, but to get serious because we're on the topic.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, dude, he was. I mean, from what I know and from what I've gathered my whole life to this point, that he wasn't a good person. He was selective of his love,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
as you should be, I think. But like, not with your kids, bro.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Absolutely not.
So when he was beating on my mom, he didn't want to pay child support, this and that, whatever. So he fled to Mexico.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then
Shit.
I didn't hear about it till I was 23 or something like that, whatever. But he passed away over there.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Holy shit, man.
Got to get super heavy, burned alive by a local cartel, actually.
Wow.
So
dude.
Holy shit.
when I found out about that, I'm like, this reiterates more of my lifestyle of why I don't do it.
Right.
I don't know exactly what went on. I've heard stories here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but it reiterated more not to ever do any of that shit or to touch it. I have no reason for that. You know what I mean?
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know what's crazy about that? Another friend of mine who's also an MMA fighter, he drinks and stuff, but his life, the way he leads his life is similar because his dad was also killed by a cartel in Mexico, and
Oh,
it
fuck.
actually changed his kind of the way he lives his whole life, and just in a different way towards other things, towards like just being a really good person and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
interesting. But wow, man, that's pretty heavy stuff.
It's heavy shit, and not to get too heavy. Again, you know what I mean, whatever. But because we're on the topic of these kind of things, you know, whatever. But yeah, dude, that's what happened. And I remember being in math tutoring at the time, and my grandma calls me.
Yeah.
And she's crying, saying how he died. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? I didn't feel anything.
Right.
How can you feel something for a man that like really wasn't there for you?
Right,
Really
yeah.
wasn't putting in that effort to try to see you. But and it's kind of weird because I want to say it was at the trail end of MySpace. And in
Okay.
the beginning of Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
I started getting messages from my brother from over there.
Oh wow.
And he started saying, hey, I'm your brother. We never met before, this and that, whatever. Yeah, I have 2 sisters over here too. And my father started another family over there.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So when he
shit.
died, they moved over here.
Dang.
It's crazy, bro.
Wow.
Do you
So
have a
yeah, that's what I was
relationship
gonna
with
say.
them now?
My little brother kind of led into a similar path as my father. So I
Oh.
don't speak to him.
Okay.
And my little sister moved to Florida with her boyfriend. And my little sister, she's 15 right now, or 16. She still lives here.
So, as far as like family that you grew up with, are you the only one,
I was
or do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a little sister from my mom's side who I
Okay.
grew up with.
Okay.
I never really grew up with. I never really got close to her either. It's kind of weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a weird childhood. You know.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
I was very much the black sheep in my family. I was the first one to stop being a Catholic.
Right.
The first one to be in a band.
Yeah.
The first one to be a vegan. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
all these little things to be a fighter too. You know,
Mhm.
like it's crazy, man.
So how does veganism play a role here?
I didn't want to. Well, it's kind of weird being sober. I think for so many years, I think it led me into that route of my body had to like what I'm eating, what I'm putting on right now in terms of my clothes, like my shampoo, whatever it might be. You know what I mean? I remember. What was it? I remember I saw a documentary, like a animal cruelty one, when I was 18. I'm like, oh fuck! And I remember for like 3 days, I didn't eat anything. Of meat.
Right.
But then after that, I slowly went back into it, and then I kind of had shunned that idea, but I always knew it was like, for me, it wasn't the correct thing to do.
Right.
And then, what was it? I think it was, what was that band? Shelter.
Okay.
I remember I got into Shelter in the early 2010s,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember how they had like Krishna on the album covers, whatever
Okay.
it might
Right.
have been, you know.
Uh-huh.
And they had like mantras and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck are they speaking about? But it was a metallic hardcore band, you know, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And so when I looked up what they were speaking about, it was Krishna consciousness. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh
You know
wow.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So that led me into like, into learning about that, and it's a religion based off of being a vegetarian kind of thing, whatever. And I was like, that's weird as fuck. And it just started seeping into me that people that were playing hardcore actually live that kind of shit, you know?
Right. It's kind of like person that I think of a lot who I just love everything about this dude. John Joseph from Chromax.
Oh, he's dope.
Yeah, dude. Like that dude is just not a lot of people I can say like that I would love to meet. Like that's one dude that I would love to just sit down and have a conversation with.
He's cool as fuck, dude. He seems like a cool ass dude. But it was that band though, dude. And then after that, I think it started to like fuck with me. And then I found out about Earth Crisis. I mean, I already knew about Earth Crisis, but I went back into them because it was a suggested artist kind of thing, whatever. And I just didn't want to support cruelty anymore.
Right. You started to just kind of see the other side of things that aren't really talked about.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I don't want my body to be a tomb for dead animals anymore. Right. It became more of a spiritual thing for me, and I think when I mention these kind of things, people think I was like, "Oh, Marco thinks he's better than like me." Or
it's because
bullshit. I'm like, that's not what I'm saying.
Right,
you know
exactly.
It's just what I do for myself. You know what I mean?
You know, I think something that a lot of people don't understand is that, you know, I've been vegan on and off, and it's just for me, it's just I get weak sometimes. I'm a fat kid at heart. So, but I do like, for example, the other night I decided to make chicken for my family, like drumstick chicken. Dude, we were all like, because my wife was vegan for a long time as well, but we were just grossed out, like just grossed out. But I was like, you know what? Like I made it. We've got to finish it. Like we're doing the animal like no justice by throwing it away. Let's just finish it. But I struggled, but it took me being a vegan for a couple of years to get to that point.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think that being vegan is because you're trying to jump on this like, oh, I'm better than you thing, but they don't realize that being vegan, even if like, okay, some people have different blood types and all that stuff, and I don't want to get into all that, like it really does good for your body. And if you're spiritual is what I'm trying to get at. If you're spiritual, doing good for your body helps you with that spiritual journey.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
You know,
when I tried veganism for, was it the year before last?
Yeah.
I loved it. I felt amazing. The only thing I struggled with is because I'm not a cook by any means.
Oh, dude, I'm not a cook either, dude.
I was eating the same shit every day, and it was like I feel great.
Boring.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let my feeling fuel the craving, right? And say as long as I feel good, but I eat the same shit every day, and I was like Googling shit, and I'm like, oh man, because I didn't want to incorporate a lot of breads into that diet.
Yeah.
So it was like pretty much cold vegan, so cold vegetables and
oh shit, so you were doing raw vegan shit,
hardcore. But until I discovered the Beyond Beef patties, I started throwing that in. But it was basically cold for about 85% of that time.
I'm not a very healthy vegan, and I mean that in terms of like I'm a lazy vegan too.
Yeah,
like I'm glad that I grew up in a Mexican household because like there's beans and rice all the time, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tortillas, salsa, guac. You can make fucking like your own shit there, and dude, it's easy. You know what I mean?
Tortilla, refried beans, and a smear of guac.
Dude, and then what's even better is the La Banderita tortillas that they have. Have you had those? Those are vegan, dude, and they're like the best fucking tortillas on the planet.
They're also big, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Dude.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can get them at Walmart. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, no, but you know what, dude? I think a lot of it is I really give a lot of respect to you in just the sense of like that discipline, dude, because a lot of people don't understand how difficult, especially in a place like El Paso,
absolutely,
to have that kind of discipline to be able to, because I remember when I was a vegan, like I almost fell into that typical vegan thing where I wanted to call everybody out for everything, you know, because I was just getting so frustrated. I mean, with you, I did.
You didn't want to, you did.
I mean, with random people, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of people associate it with like you trying to have this mentality of like being better than somebody else. But a lot of it is just that you're trying to like get people to see the other side of things, to like, hey, like it's not that I'm trying to preach. It's just like, I mean, it's kind of like a religion in a way. Like, it's just like, come on, if like you can only see things the way I do, you would understand, and it could do you some good.
In a sense, yeah, you're absolutely right. The little time that I did it, I was fucking explaining myself every day because
annoying as fuck.
It's
dude.
ridiculous.
It's annoying, right? Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, so you don't want to bite then? Because I'm not. You don't have to eat it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
leave me the fuck alone. But then you have the people who have the serious questions about it, and you try to get into that. But it's like, I mean, you've done something your whole life, right? Without even thinking about it. So to try to teach these people the whys, the hows, the importance, you know what I mean? It's like, it's fucking lost on a lot of people.
Well, it's kind of weird because like El Paso is a very beer culture place. You know what I mean? And there is a beer culture here, an alcohol culture kind of thing, and everybody goes out. They a lot of generally, I'm saying this. I think most people don't know how to have fun without having alcohol here, and it's kind of weird.
True, man.
And they don't know how to be, and it's also they're the same kind of people that don't know how to handle their feelings when times get hard.
Oh yeah.
So they gravitate toward those kind of things, and they're like, that's their way out. You know what I mean? And I think it takes I think I have more respect for a person when they're going through shit, but they don't use any of that, and they're just like growing with that feeling and changing as a person. It's a part of the human condition to keep on evolving and changing, whether it's for the good or for the worse. And I think the way to experience that really is without having like alcohol and weed and shit like that, just by like dealing with your own feelings personally.
Right. Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. And it is hard. It's very difficult. And so that's why I say like that discipline, man.
Thank you,
like,
man.
Was there kind of like what was that transition like? Where the day that you said like, okay, like tomorrow, that's it, I'm vegan.
That was like, I think it's kind of weird because Hector was a vegan before me.
Okay.
Hector,
Is he still?
yeah, he's a
Okay,
vegan.
awesome.
He's out of our friends. It's just me and Hector.
Okay.
But as far as being vegan, and straight edge, it's just me. But I want to say I don't think there's been a lot of vegan straight edge dudes here in El Paso. I think there's maybe been about less than 10 for sure, and I'm grouped in there.
We had a guitar player who was straight edge, still to this day.
Which one?
Justin.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think he was ever vegan.
No, I don't think so.
But to answer your question, I went from cutting beef first, and then chicken, and then I became a pescatarian, and then a vegetarian. I think being a vegetarian for me was fucking hard, bro.
Yeah.
Because I would force myself to go to restaurants, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't have fucking chicken. I can't do this and that. I can't do this and that. Whatever. And then when I eventually became a vegan, I already had cut out like milk and all that shit, whatever. But cheese was hard for me. Dude, I love eggs, bro.
Right.
Some people hate eggs. I loved eating eggs, and that was so hard for me to replace. And I still miss some things, but I just replace it. You know what I mean? So
of course. Yeah. Wow.
And that was the hard part. Now that you mentioned going to restaurants, my family, we like to go out to eat and whatnot, meet up with my dad and stuff, and we were going to dinner. And I'll sit there and I go, what the fuck am I going to eat?
You're eating tostadas the whole night.
Yeah, it's bullshit, right?
Yeah. At the time I started doing it, I guess more places were jumping on board. Like one of our favorite places is Great American, right?
Great American, okay.
So my dad wanted to go there. And I said yes, because he's cute. I'm not going to tell him no, right? So I sat down and I'm like, fuck, there's nothing but meat here. Lo and behold, remember I told you?
Yeah,
they had the Beyond Meat patties there. Oh, yeah. One of the best fucking burgers I've ever had.
Jesus.
So when I was vegan, I ate those things daily. Do you and you hear all the people saying like, oh, they're so bad for you too and blah blah.
They are bad for you.
But do you eat those?
I do eat them.
They're so good, right?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, it's nothing was killed in that process. You know what I mean? So like, and that's my own thing. It's kind of like it wasn't meant to. I'm not doing it because it's healthy. I'm doing it for the cruelty part. You know what I mean? For the most part, like I eat mostly clean, but there's sometimes I don't. Sometimes I go to like Taco Bell.
Right.
Taco Bell's my favorite restaurant of all time.
Dude,
bro.
they have so many options.
Bro, the vegan cheese that they had?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I went like every day for a week, bro.
Yeah.
I swear to God I did.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part, right? Is like part of veganism is trying to find what you can eat. And then you find that one thing, so you just gravitate towards it. For every day for like 3 weeks.
Chorizo crumbles.
I was eating chorizo crumbles with two Beyond patties, avocado and jalapenos. That was every fucking day.
Dude, and the vegan cheese that was from there, it tasted like that 90s cheap like Velveeta cheese. I missed that cheap shit, bro.
Dude, right?
You know what I mean?
Right. There's a local place here. I can't remember the name. I would shout them out. That they do their vegan cheese, but they do it like where they actually put like probiotics and stuff in it.
Oh, wow.
And they age it for like a certain amount, and their shit tastes good, dude. But they're usually at like the Saturday market. But anyways,
The one thing I
me know what it is.
The cheese is what.
It's hard to get a vegan cheese. That's
right.
good.
So when I started doing it, I said, okay, I can't replace this, so I'm just not going to have it. So I had nothing with even a vegan cheese. One time you brought me nachos from some place.
yeah.
And they
vegan
used
taco shop.
jackfruit for the cheese
Yeah,
or something like that. Yes. I said,
No, they use cashew cheese.
Oh,
for
yeah,
that.
whatever
Yeah.
it was. I said, no,
You know,
just rather not
my
have it.
wife really helped me.
My wife.
She really helped me to. That was like, I feel like a huge leap into veganism for me is when she told me, your problem is you're comparing everything. She goes, stop comparing it. Eat it as like it's a new food source or it's a new food, not as this is cheese. Because if you go into the
Right.
mentality it's going to taste like cheese and it doesn't, you're going to be disappointed. But if you look at it as like, hey, this is something new I'm going to put on my burger, you're going to enjoy it. And so, yeah, that really made me change my
But
frame of mind.
those chorizo crumbles and those fucking Beyond patties, dude, you cannot tell the fucking difference at all.
And you know, you being able to eat both, you're the true a tester for those kind of things, because you can try a piece of meat and then try this. I'm like, they don't taste the same at all.
Yeah.
And you know, I hate. Well, I'm not gonna say hate, but I dislike very much when a vegan person is like, hey, this tastes exactly the same like this. It's been years since you ate that shit, bro. Like, how do you know it? Like, your brain is altered already.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Like, you know, like your opinion is not a fair opinion because you went years without having like beef or something, and you're trying to say this tastes exactly like beef. How you remember it?
That's
like,
true,
your
man.
memory is like a fucking wanky ass fucking like wonky thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and for you to compare it then and there it's not a fair comparison. So Adrian over here, fair tester.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he does both.
Yeah.
Hey, this does taste the same. Okay, this, you know what I mean? Like, that's a fair
Right.
opinion.
Yeah. That's true. That's a very good point. I didn't think
Yeah.
about that.
But I will say Beyond patties are the only ones though. Other ones are
Impossibles are weird, huh?
they're decent competitors, but like Beyond patty, it was like
You know,
no fucking difference.
I remember I went to Burger King for an
Possible Whopper.
Impossible Whopper,
Yeah.
and I remember the first time I had it. I don't know how like a hockey puck tastes like, but
It was close.
That's close.
And
it was hard like one, bro.
I'm weird. I like them, man.
And that's when
know.
that's the first time I tasted an Impossible. Because I went to Burger King and I said, oh, fuck yeah. Because I was Googling shit, right? Like, I got to get out of this funk. I need different foods. But of course, I wasn't doing breads or french fries at the time either. So I told the lady, give me 2 Impossibles on a bed of lettuce, right? Dude, I was so hungry. And I went to it and I was like, yeah,
Really?
I need a Beyond patty.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I love to go out and eat and stuff, whatever, you know, but I try staying away from it because I feel like, and I don't know if you feel these way, but like but when you go out and you eat somewhere, like for example, if I go to like a Taco Bell, whatever, those employees are miserable.
Oh, right.
They are there for like a paycheck.
yeah.
They're they're only there just for that, and so I feel like they're putting all this energy, this negative energy,
Into your food.
into your food. Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're eating that shit, and then you're wondering why you're fucking mad or something,
Yeah.
or you know, I'm not saying that's what it exactly is, but it's
Right,
something to
right.
think about. And I feel like you're ingesting all those
energy.
negative feelings, just like
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
ingest an animal that didn't want to die. You're kind of
Right.
doing that, you know what I mean? And you're manifesting that bad energy that they had when they had passed away. Now, when my grandma makes bean burritos,
Mm-hmm.
they are the best fucking thing I've ever ate, bro. Because she puts love in that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just beans and a tortilla. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, there's nothing fucking fancy to it, bro.
Right. Dude, I never thought about it that
You
way.
can
That's
never
very
front
true, man.
on a grandma's being
Yeah.
My
Fucking
grandma, so she's hilarious, dude. It's kind of weird because when it comes to her, I'm not funny at all. I say the dumbest fucking jokes. I like cringe humor. I like all this shit.
Yeah.
My friends say I have a fishy dick humor.
I love that.
But my mom doesn't have that humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom is very serious.
That's
bro.
how my mom was too, man. Yeah.
But my grandma and me will be like in our own corner, like
Yeah.
laughing her ass. My mom's mad.
yeah.
She wishes she was involved, but
Yeah.
she's like, you don't even understand this
She
shit.
doesn't
You know what I
get
mean?
it.
Like,
yeah.
you
That's
know?
awesome, dude. That's exactly how my mom was, man. My mom
Yeah.
was very stoic.
Yeah.
But so on that note, you know, a lot of and you get this all the time. I'm sure you got it when you were doing the veganism. You hear all the time about like this whole fucking argument about, well, how do you get your protein and how do you have muscles and how do you stay fit? So you are also a jiu-jitsu trained fighter.
Mm-hmm.
How do you what do you tell people that try to like tell you? Because I would imagine, like, I think about, like, for example, like, are you familiar, like, the Tennessee Titans football team?
No.
A lot of them are vegan.
Are you really?
And so
crazy.
a lot of them attribute their performance to being vegan.
Oh,
And
that's
a lot-
that video you showed me, right? Where
That's
they were
cool.
like lined up at a vegan buffet, like they were
Yeah,
feeding them
yeah.
and
That's
shit.
dope
So
as
there's-
fuck.
Yeah. So, but it's still, even when you have information like that, there's this common misconception that for whatever reason, the world has trained everybody to think that having meat directly connects to physical fitness.
It's because the people in the world want to sell their meat.
Yeah.
Like the world can't
For sure,
function
dude.
without selling any
Just
of that.
like
There's
milk.
a propaganda. There's
Right,
a lot of
dude.
propaganda. Breakfast in itself is a scam too.
Right.
You know.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Breakfast is a scam, bro.
Yeah, that's him. He fasts every day.
And I love breakfast food. Don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah.
I have to veganize all my breakfast food. So like just egg and
I
below
love just
bacon
egg,
shit,
dude.
whatever. Follow your heart cheese, and I'll make like a burrito kind of thing, whatever. But people need to stop listening to other people and just make their own opinion and kind of live their own truth. And I think that's a big part, is that people listen to other people so much. They kind of have this mob mentality. Everybody. And I'm included in this. Like, I'm not this fucking saint and shit, whatever. But like, you got to take yourself out of these things. I'm like, is this really my opinion? Or is this their opinion?
Right.
And I'm just
Dude,
like, you know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
And that's most people, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I
it
mean?
has
So,
to. Yeah.
for me, it's kind of like, I train with monsters
Right.
at jiu-jitsu. I spar against some hard dudes. You know what I mean? And I have a hard coach too, and dude, like, if veganism didn't work, I wouldn't be in there.
Right. Right.
But I'm living my own truth. This is just for me, not anybody else's truth. I do this for myself. I feel amazing. I go for a run after that still. I'll go lift weights with Hector and my friend. He plays in Maldito Dios. His name's Ricky. He's a cool
Okay.
dude.
Uh-huh.
Cool kid. And, I do that all the time, dude. I do it all the time, and I haven't felt anything weird.
Mhm.
I don't feel like weak or nothing like that. I just think it is what you make of it. Like, you still need to do, like, I even think even if you did eat meat, you still need to take your multivitamins, your B12 still. I still think you
Right.
need to do all that shit. And I think most people don't do that because they rely so much on just their meals. I feel like if, just in case you have a bad day where you're not eating good, you fall back on your multivitamins.
Right. Right.
It's I don't know, man. For me, it's kind of like I eat pretty much once a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do jiu-jitsu at 6. I'll do MMA at 7 o'clock, and then I'll go home. I'll shower, and then I'll go for another run, maybe, or gym.
Okay.
And then that's when I really fucking eat. I'll like eat a big ass meal, bro.
Right. That's my shit too, man. I try to fast at least 22, 23 hours a day. Get all my shit in, right? Workouts, everything. I still have my job and whatnot. I feel better
Yeah.
with less food. And then going back to what Paul was asking, when I went vegan, I felt stronger. I felt faster. Like, I felt tired only because it's hard to hit calories the way I was doing veganism, right?
Yeah.
Cold, no breads, no nothing. So
And that's the way to go, bro.
and dude,
Honestly.
I thought I was eating a lot, but I think I hit maybe 1,000 calories a day. Maybe. So I felt that, but that's just because of how I was doing it. But outside of that, I felt fucking amazing, man.
Yeah, I do a liquid on IV all the time, before jiu-jitsu and after. I'll I don't know, dude. It's just
What do you put
kinda,
in it?
Just water, just
Okay.
the
saline?
a water bottle, the little packet, and that's
Okay.
it. And
Okay.
and I'll go for another run and shit. You know what I mean? Whatever. But like, I don't know, bro. To each their own. Like, if you eat meat and stuff like that, if you're a normal person that just eats, I guess, like, that's cool, dude. Like, if it works for you, great.
Right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
that's what I've started to tell people.
And the frustrating part is that I don't talk about this shit.
Right.
I'm not the guy that's like, hey, I'm this and that. I'm vegan.
I'm vegan. Right, right.
You know,
yeah.
I don't do that. I
Right.
don't like, and they find out about it when I'm ordering food or
Right.
some shit or like,
Why aren't you getting that?
Why aren't you eating this? I'm like, and then that's when the judging comes. That's when
Right.
the questions come in, and I've had past experiences where you know, I'll be judged for it, or I'll be like asked these, and it's kind of funny because I'm not judging them.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. When these guys would always give me, not these guys, at work, they'd give me shit and they'd be like, ooh, you're vegan. I'll tell them, I bet you this, we're going to whoop your ass. What do you want to bet? What do you want to bet? You know?
Yeah.
It's funny, man.
To me, it's about anything in life. It's about willpower and the mental part of it, right? You prove yourself how strong you are. You know what I mean? And people always ask me like, well, fuck, how do you put yourself through that? I'm like, dude, because I just constantly need to challenge my mind, challenge my body. You know what I mean? I don't like to be stagnant. You know what I mean? It's all about challenging, right? And seeing how far you can push something.
Yeah.
So, on that note, when you train to these highest levels, do you feel that? I mean, you're training with other guys. Do you feel that being vegan in any way gives you an edge, or do you just feel like it just keeps you competitive?
It's weird that you asked me that because I've never really had thought about that like that. Like
because I know, for example, eating plant-based, a lot of people, you know, studies have shown that it helps in recovery. You know, it helps in a lot of those things that as a fighter, you need to really be on the cusp of those things. So I don't know. Do you feel like when you compare yourself to other people, like not in a cocky or arrogant way, do you feel like you excel athletically more than maybe the guy to the right of you sometimes?
I don't get as tired, but that's just my end because I've always been like into like running and stuff, whatever.
Okay.
But I don't other than that, dude, I don't think so, man. Like I just kind of, I think I deal with more of my nerves of going into like a match and stuff like that, whatever, or when I was doing them for a little bit, and I would feel nervous as fuck about it, but it wasn't necessarily like a health issue. It was more like a fuck, like how do I handle the lights? How do I handle the crowd around me? My friends watching me. Like I'm about to get choked out or not get choked out by this dude in front of me, in front of my family or something. You know what I mean? Like, so that's something that I think about more. I don't really think about like the health.
Right.
So I haven't thought about it that deep, I think, at least.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, dude. No. But that's awesome though, man, because a lot of, I mean, again, I at one point became a preachy vegan, and now I'm like the biggest hypocrite because I'm eating meat again. I mean, I try to limit my meat intake.
Yeah.
Like
you're doing
very much so.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You're being yourself and you're embracing who you are, and you know, you're not trying to be somebody that you're not either. You're doing what's right for yourself.
Right.
So I think that's important to give yourself some credit.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, how you said going, you know, when you go and you fight and you have those nerves, do you kind of feel those nerves when you get on stage too?
Dude, all the time.
Yeah.
I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't. I've played a lot of shows, and I pretend, you know, I'm making all these stupid jokes. I'm laughing, I'm smiling, and I'm masking it. I'm fucking pretending.
Inside you're like,
and then I'm on stage and I'm like, let's go, Marty, let's go.
Dude.
And that's how I get rid of it, you know?
Yeah.
Paul sent me a video. I don't have social media. Paul sent me a clip of you playing, and you fucking gave out this wiggle, woo, and I was like, dude, that's the fucking guy right there.
Yeah.
Mid-set, you just fucking went, woo, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know. I still feel like, I feel crazy when I'm playing sometimes, you know, whatever, and
just like this persona that comes out, right? It's almost like, it's like the way, that's how I feel too. It's been a long time since I've played a live show, but like you just, like I used to remember, I don't know if you remember, but like I would kind of go hide away.
Yeah, all the time.
And
I could never find you 20
like
minutes
I
before.
just was always in my head, always nervous about, you know, going on
I
stage.
hate that feeling, bro.
Yeah, dude. And like I just couldn't be myself. So what I would do is just take myself away from
I'm feeling
everybody.
it now that you're speaking about it right now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it in this moment. It's making my asshole clench, honestly. Like, I hate it, dude.
See, and I'm backwards, dude. Like playing live is my fucking thing. Like it's what I crave. It's what I as stupid as it sounds, is what I was meant to do, right? Like playing live is just, I think about it almost every day. Like I could do it every day without a hitch.
But so on that same token though, once you're on stage, it's like one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think about anything, but it's just weird. I think, well, I could say, for example, growing up being bullied for my speech and shit, whatever, I think that's why I like being like a wallflower. I don't want people to notice my speech and how like and how I speak and shit, whatever. So like I think that kind of like evolved into like, okay, now you're gonna be the spotlight, and you have these fears of people laughing, like kind of shit, but it's not real. You know what I mean? Like, well, but if you do it in your own head, you become a stronger person. I'm sure.
You know what? Go through it, what's funny, Marco, is honestly, dude. Like, I feel like that gives you character.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean? Like,
Eric says the same thing. Actually,
does he really?
Eric, dude, I agree 100%, man.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. Kids are just fucked up, man.
Nah, kids are ruthless, bro. But yeah, dude. And I think that's why I also got into metal too. It wasn't just because of my uncles. It's because I identified with angry music because I grew up angry and frustrated that I couldn't communicate with my family, with my friends. And, when I heard Slayer for the first time, I remember being like, okay, like, this is angry music. I like this. Because I don't really care what he's fucking saying. I just identify this as angry music and I feel angry and I want to listen to it.
Right.
Now, people that always ask like, well, you don't understand what he's saying. Like, how can you really relate to it or like it, whatever? I'm like, it's because you grew up not getting fucked with, bro.
Right.
You grew up with not being angry. You either get it or you don't.
Right.
Exactly. And that was my thing. And, in turn, because I didn't have friends, I had like a bunch of like, I grew up with dogs and shit, whatever.
Right.
And they were my only friends, bro. Like, they didn't care how I spoke. They just wanted to be kissed and played with and loved and hugged and shit,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately, honestly, my root of being vegan.
I can see that.
Yeah,
that makes total sense, dude.
Big time.
I have an undying devotion for my dogs.
Right.
So when I think about them, I always think I'm doing it for them.
Right. Dude, that's
a good
amazing.
way to look at
I
it.
love that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. I mean, like, I'm a huge dog lover. You're a big animal lover, and
Dude,
I mean,
animals. Period. And that's where I get lost with myself. Right? Is like, I'm well aware of my contradictions. Well aware because animals above humans. I tell everybody
Always.
I'll kill a human before I kill an animal.
Humans suck. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's my battling point, right? Because I see a cat and I'm like, oh, you're the most beautiful thing on earth, and like dogs, and I just genuinely love all animals. You know what I mean?
Now, to be fair, it's not all humans that suck. There's a very handful of people that are great people, but because the world has harnessed the free will, the bad free will. Because I think we all have God and the devil within all of us, and it's not necessarily like real people, but I'm just saying because we can do great good or great evil, right?
Right.
And I feel like the world is bad because they've harnessed the bad part mostly. That's why you see a lot of bad shit going on. They don't really harness the good part of their free will mostly. So that's why I think you see a lot of bad mostly.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because it's easier. Like it's harder to be a good person in this world than it is to,
dude. Yes,
you know what I mean. I
agree with you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like somebody cuts you off, it's so much easier to be like "fuck you" than to be like he might be having a bad day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
My way here.
You and I struggle with that.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying you're mean, but like I'm more of like I love everybody, man. Everyone has their own story. Yeah. Like let it be, man. You know what I mean? Like. Don't waste pointless energy on pointless shit.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
I hate most people and I love very few people, and the same goes with things that I love. I hate most things and I love very few things, and it's weird, man. And I don't know. It's kind of weird because growing up without having a sip of alcohol in my 20s,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Going on dates was weird,
right?
Because people didn't know how to. They're like, what? Because I'm an esoteric person and I do esoteric shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really fuck with that. So that was kind of like a weird thing for me because I don't really fuck with this person. I'm probably going to just see them for this one date and then just, that's it. Just be homies after that or something.
Yeah.
But that was weird for me. Growing up in your 20s without having a sip of alcohol when all your friends were drinking.
Right. Oh, dude, yeah.
Weird as fuck.
I can imagine. I mean, I know I didn't drink a lot when I was younger. I hated the taste of alcohol when I was younger. But I always did feel like, dude, on my 21st birthday, I drank half a beer. And everybody was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I'm not feeling it, man. I'm good. Don't worry.
I did the drinking for you.
Yeah.
My uncles did my drinking for me because they were watching like some boxing match at the time, and my whole family had a cookout, and at the time I wasn't vegan, whatever, or a vegetarian yet, whatever, but like they thought it was weird that I didn't drink at all, and I think that day really reiterated to them that I don't do it at all. I don't drink at all.
Right. That makes sense.
It's kind of crazy.
So has your family gotten to a point of just like accepting like that's just who you are now, or you still get those questions?
They don't really ask me about it anymore. Okay. They just kind of just let things. They have a really unhealthy way of going about it. They just exclude me.
Okay.
Like, wow. Without really wanting, like, not in a dick way where they're like just trying to like. No. In a very asshole way. They'll kind of like. There's this feeling that I usually get as of late, and it's kind of like I'll go home after a long day, and my mom, her boyfriend, and my little sister, they'll all go out to eat.
Right. Right.
And Roland, it's not your fault. I promise you. Okay, it's my mom. All right. But of course, Roland's a great guy, And I'll go home, dude, and there's boxes of food in the fridge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the fuck is mine, bro?
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
You know I mean? Is that not the worst fucking feeling on earth?
My friend.
I feel you.
I have a friend named Kevin, and his mom, nicest mom, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with him. And I think I saw his phone go off at the airport, whatever. And I see his phone, and I saw this text from his mom. I said, "Hey, hun, I just came back from Applebee's. I left you food in the fridge. I love you lots, mom." And I'm like, "Where the fuck is my mom doing that shit, bro?"
Dude, right.
I don't got that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I told Kevin, I'm like, "Dude, you're lucky, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You have a mom that gives a fuck about you.
Yeah,
bro.
dude. Yeah.
And I'm blessed to have met him. He's a cool dude, But I don't know, man. It's just little shit like that makes me feel fucking bad, bro.
Right.
But instead of but I do appreciate when there is a cookout. Hey, we may do some vegan things.
Right.
Thank you.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. It took me a while to get my mom on that. She would be like, "You can eat chicken, right? It's not meat."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But then she finally came around.
You know what I love about this conversation? You go back, let's say even 20 years, right? Like metalheads were just like crazy drinking devil worshiper dudes, and you look at where we're at now, fitness people, and you're a fighter, and you know what I mean? Like it's just what people once thought metal musicians were like are no more.
Well, it's funny.
It's
weird.
I had this conversation. I can't remember who it was with, but it was somebody that I know is touring a lot with bigger bands and doing all that stuff. And I don't even remember. But we had this long conversation about how even the whole world of like sex, drugs, and rock and roll is like not
gone.
That anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. Like now it's about being fit, being able to continue your career in a healthy way.
Right.
Because I guess history has shown that when bands go down that route, the Motley Crue route, even though they're still doing it, right, a lot of time it ends up in bad places.
Right.
And so it's weird because now when you go to the higher levels, the elite levels of metal music, these are some of the like, whether they're vegan or they're just eating healthy, they're exercising. The sex, drugs, and rock and roll part is like, it's just not what it was.
Yeah,
which
weird,
is
huh?
kind of a good thing though, I guess.
Yeah,
I think the hip hop world, the new hip hop world now embraces the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's what it seems like.
That's true. It kind of had like a switch off there, huh? Like,
yeah, for sure. But did you want to get into Let It Riff?
Yeah, let's do it.
All
So
right.
for everybody who knows, we have our segment Let It Riff, where we bring one of our favorite riffs to the table and just bring it to light. You want to go first?
Sure. Actually, mine is not a specific song, and this goes back. I've been sitting on this one since I went to see Fear Factory, and I just wanted to kind of put out an entire album because every fucking riff on that album to me is just.
You're always changing the rules, man.
I know, but you know what? I can do that. I'm gonna go with the entire album because every fucking song has a riff that's just amazing with Demanufacture from Fear Factory.
Demanufacture's good, man.
I love
Obsolete's amazing too.
Yeah, Obsolete is great, dude.
Descent was on my. I remember hearing that song over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
It's because that's like a Godflesh ripoff. Exactly.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, Fear Factory, I think, was one of the first bands that really embraced the riffing alongside the kick, like you know what I mean. That the original drummer, like just together, where it's just like they're always like a machine. That's what it sounds like, a fucking machine. So, anyways, I went with the Demanufacture from Fear Factory. Every song, I couldn't pick just one.
Awesome, Marcos.
Okay, before I continue, not ripped off, but influenced by Godflesh. Better word. I would go with Wolverine Blues from Entombed. That riff is it's heavy ass riff when it starts. The whole song is fucking amazing because, well, that record was supposed to be Entombed's version of a hardcore record. It was supposed to be like more. It was supposed to be a combination of hardcore and what they already play, like their Swedish death metal, like a variation, whatever.
Right.
And the singer, before he passed away, I think in an interview he said that what they were going for isn't really what they didn't actually succeed the sound that they were going for, but bands now have succeeded that sound.
Right. Okay. Wow.
So going back to that, I like to think that my band is a Wolverine Blues hardcore band.
That's awesome.
That's what I call ourselves because of that. Because of that album.
Wow, dude, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's a really cool title too, by the way. That's awesome, man. I like that. We can do a little clip there and put that song in the background.
It's so fucking sick, dude.
And you?
I went with one of my favorite bands of all time. It's not a heavy riff. It's the beginning of the song. It's kind of light, right? So I went with the beginning riff of "Meet Me Again for the First Time" by Poison the Well off of 2003's "You Come Before You."
Dude, yeah.
That album's amazing. That band's amazing,
my
dude.
God.
So good.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of tying into this whole riff thing, you're real big on the HM2 pedal stuff.
Yes.
Sound, I guess you can say, right?
I'm the chainsaw man in town, as Hector says. I've had a couple HM2s in my time, in the past, like maybe 6 years.
Okay.
I fucked with a lot of them. Lone Wolf Audio is one of them. He's pretty much like Joe Anastasio. Pretty much was the dude that pretty much brought that pedal back to life. I want to say in some ways. Well, not completely, but because there's other people who did it too.
Right.
But he was on the spotlight for a lot of bigger bands using the newer HM2.
Okay.
He got the classic. I think the words schematics.
Okay. Right.
And he pretty much made that like on steroids, like
oh wow,
a better HM2 in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
But there's other companies that have done it probably better. I know a lot of people talk shit about him,
right?
Because he like wires his. There's this thing called like a gut check, whatever, and they pretty much take away the pedals back, and that it's all messy and shit. But it's supposed to be like nice in a certain way, and he gets called out for that all the time. But I mean, he's been a nice dude to me. Other than I did order a dismember pedal from him.
Oh, okay.
And there was only 30 made in the whole world for that.
Holy shit!
And I have one of them, and I use it actually all the time. It's my favorite HM2.
Okay.
It took me a year to get.
Oh shit! Damn.
But the guy from Nails, at the time they had 2 guitarists or 3 guitarists. I'm not too sure. He got his in a month.
Oh wow.
And I was waiting patiently, and then Marty, out of everybody, I told him about it. He messaged Joe, unbeknownst to me.
Uh-huh.
And Joe was talking shit. Well, he should have waited more. I'm like, a year, bro? Really?
Yeah.
So I'll never buy from him again. I'll buy from somebody that makes pedals and then resells them from him, kind of thing, but never directly through him. And I've tried to shout him out in the past and stuff, whatever, but like he doesn't. He just like looks at my shit. He doesn't say thanks, man, or nothing, or nothing. So that's kind of like my little, not kind of a beef, but kind of a beef. Not really a beef, but kind of a beef,
Right.
And yeah, dude, a fucking year for a pedal.
That is crazy, dude. So do you use that regularly though?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I fuck with the clean channel a lot. I usually play through the clean channel on my 6505 because the lead channel is too distorted, but I figured out last night how to do it in a way where it sounds like juicy. You know what I mean?
Wow, okay.
It sounds really good. So I might be playing it through that for the Frozen Soul show.
Awesome, dude.
But
So
go ahead.
no. So I was gonna just say for our listeners that may not understand what we're talking about, HM2, that buzzsaw sound, that like bands like you mentioned, you're gonna play with Frozen Soul, for example. They have it's a pretty beefy sound there. Entomb, Nails really.
Nails for sure uses an HM2.
Yeah.
I don't think Frozen Soul uses one.
They may not, but they have a
good sound.
Yeah,
huh?
dude, it's so fucking great.
Yeah.
So it's this specific sound that I know even my brother, I'm educated about it because of my brother. He's the one that was like, we need to get this sound. And so I know something that he's always kind of sought with his little project that he does. And it's little like him.
Yeah.
But
Little
anyways,
project for a little person.
like it's a somewhat difficult sound to achieve, like especially in the studio, to get it like just right, to get those lows.
I have an ear for it.
Yeah, but like Saberwolf, you guys do a really good job in having that beefy sound.
Yeah, big time, man.
I had to educate Hector on what it was.
Did you?
I actually told Eric more about it because so for the people hearing this, a brief little history. And HM2 is pretty much heavy metal pedal 2.
Mm-hmm.
It was made in Japan, I think, in 1984 or 1982. I'm not too sure.
Right.
One of those years. And pretty much when you max out all 4 knobs, it pretty much gives you a chainsaw sound. So Dismember, Entombed, I think Grave too.
That's true.
Those are some of the first bands that really got the HM2 and they just maxed it out and they were just playing it full blast through a Gibson guitar, through a shitty fucking crate amp, I think, whatever it was. But it created a certain sound that stamped Swedish death metal at the time.
Right.
And so, they stopped making it for a bit. But the unique thing about HM2s is that they're all handmade.
Oh wow!
So
I didn't know that.
They all uniquely sound a certain way. They all sound. Even if it's a frequency of a difference, it's still different.
Right.
They're all unique to themselves. And then the Taiwanese version afterwards was hated on a little bit. It was ragged on a bit because it wasn't exactly the same sound. It didn't have that chainsaw sound.
Right.
It had more what they call the buzzsaw sound because of that pedal.
Right.
And then from there, the Heavy Metal 3 pedal came out, which is a cheap version of the HM2. Actually sounds pretty good. And then it got really weird where like the metal zone came later.
Right.
This pedal called the Aryan pedal.
Okay.
The Aryan pedal. That's a weird fucking name anyway.
Yeah.
And a racer's ass name. But anyway, and then it just went on. But HM2s are a thing of the past. Swedish death metal bands that use an HM2 are a thing of the past. And there's been a resurgence of death metal bands in the 2010s like Nails that have really brought that sound back.
Yeah.
And I think even nowadays, now that I'm speaking, that sound has died out again.
Oh, really?
I think it has.
Yeah.
Like, more traditional death metal has returned for sure, but not really HM2 bands no more. There's no more like there. Besides Gate, a Creeper, besides a Fuming Mouth, besides those bands, I can't even think of an HM2 band right now at the moment. And if you know of any guys, send them my way. I would love to hear them.
Yeah. I know Eric's a huge fan of Gate Creeper.
Gate Creeper's cool.
But yeah,
Dope
that's awesome,
band.
man. But I mean, you guys you consider yourself an HM2 band?
I consider myself a Wolverine Blues hardcore band. Yes.
Yeah.
And I say that because it's in vein of what that album was. Like everything I write, just like I said, me, David, and Marty, we agree now. Like I could write something now, and it's like, okay, like we get it. It sounds good, great. But back in the day, I was like, nah, I don't know about that riff. But because we all listen to the same shit now, and we all know what we want to sound like, it just comes naturally, bro. Like it's so easy to write for our band now. It's so fucking cool, But I think the choice later on is going to have to be is like, do we consider ourselves more of a metal band or of a hardcore band? We're always going to be a hardcore band, you know what I mean?
Right,
I think the more profitable route is being a metal band, obviously, but at heart we're always playing hardcore,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's been a big resurgence of just like traditional hardcore.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
One of my business partners, Pepe, he plays drums for Strife. So
I love Strife.
Strife's
sick as fuck.
I went to go with him to do a few shows. They were playing with like Terror and like, dude, and just to see the crowd like back to embracing that music. Like I never thought it would come around again. It's amazing, man.
Yeah, for
No,
sorry.
No, you go ahead, brother.
For hardcore and for death metal, like a resurgence in both.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, it's to know that it fell off at one point is weird to me because it's always been like something I have to listen to. You know what I mean? Like constantly on the hunt for that new band or that new sound or whatever, right? Like to know that I've always thought that hardcore was that one genre that just carried on, right? Like, because it was never really huge, but it was never really small. So it always just kind of maintained that wave throughout this whole time. You know what I mean?
And it's strange because like there's bands that sound nothing like a hardcore band, but they come from the hardcore scene because they grew up going to hardcore shows. They play hardcore shows. They're in a hardcore band, I guess. You know what I mean? It's all those things that make a hardcore band. You don't necessarily have to sound like a hardcore band, but if you grew up in that scene and you give to that scene, you're in a hardcore band.
Yeah.
You could be in an indie band and you'd be a hardcore band. It's more of a mentality than anything.
Right.
Yeah, there's a hardcore sound, no doubt, but it's more of a mentality kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I really love that those bands that we've spoken about before, that they're the hardcore, but they're embracing like the Hispanic and Mexican culture, and it's like a part of their scene. Like who is it?
Barrio Slam.
Barrio Slam, and then there's that other one. I can't remember. Anyways, like I just love that.
Yeah.
That weird, cool like
Zabalba.
meshing. Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go.
Zabalba is
dude, they're good, man.
They're the most I think like Latin proud band.
Yeah.
And they represent that really well in their music, and those dudes are cool as fuck too.
Right.
I played with them. I think Saberwolf played like their 4th show.
Okay.
Our 4th show with them. And playing before them was fucking nerve-wracking for me because I'm like, man, this band's amazing. And
Dude,
they're super
good.
heavy.
Yeah.
And they're cool-ass dudes. They like good music. And they're playing this like, you know, it's this heavy ass shit, and they're super good, man. They're super good. But yeah, like I want to say they're like very proud, like how like a Sepultura is.
Right.
They represent their culture very well through their music in that way. Exactly. Huh?
Right. Shout out to Exiled. Those are the dudes that actually got me into. Dave and Stevie got me into. How do you say it? Jabalba? How do you say it? It's a weird...
Zabalba, huh?
Yeah, it's such a weird name to say, but those dudes are good. But anyway, shout out Exiled. So that brings me to, my next question, which is, what's on the horizon for Saberwolf? I know you guys are opening up for Frozen Soul, but you guys have tours, you guys working on albums. Like, what's coming up for you guys?
We're going on a little tour with Maldito Dios, December 7th through the 12th. So we're playing Dallas, Corpus Christi, McAllen, and then San Antonio.
Okay.
And that's in December. I'm going to try to get back into the studio, or we're going to try to get back in January, hopefully. Dude, I have songs in the back line.
Right,
just waiting.
Just to be recorded.
I have at least 10, maybe more.
Wow.
And
that's like us.
Dude, it's weird. You know what I do? I do this stupid thing where I'll be at like at the airport, at work, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm making drinks and shit, whatever. And I'll have a riff come to mind.
Yeah.
And I'll go to the side and I'll be like,
Dude.
I'll be like making stupid ass little voice messages.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hope nobody fucking heard me, bro. And then I hear it back and I'm like, I can't even hear the whole thing. It's so funny, dude. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's funny you say that. I do the exact I'll be at work, no one's around, I'll go, and I'll just record it in the voice memo.
At Starbucks though, dude, like as I'm making drinks, I'm like doing all this shit. I guess because I'm on autopilot, whatever. My brain is going nuts with riffs.
Right. You're up here.
I'm making drink, whatever, doing all this shit, whatever, and then I'm like, fuck. Like I hope I remember this riff by the end of this rush.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
exactly. That's how I started why I started the voice memo thing. It was just like, how do I not fucking lose this? You know what I mean?
Well, it's like when I was a teacher, we used to have to give the kids the STAR test. And you're not allowed to sit down. You're not even allowed to have your phone, nothing. So for 4 hours, you're just walking around, making sure that kids are not cheating and stuff like that. Dude, I swear to God, at the end of the day, I had a whole album written, but then it was like, I'd get home. It was like, I don't remember any of it now.
Now to get back to the topic of technology and humans and how they don't mix.
Right.
Imagine, that's why 90s music to me is better. because you were alone without your phone, bro.
Right.
And you wrote a whole fucking album.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, people can't even be a minute without their phone.
Yeah, dude.
Granted, I've been without my phone for like a while now.
Yeah.
But it feels good.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people that are always attached to this thing, they don't really have the social cues that a 90s person had.
Right.
Think about this. When somebody's going away and you're speaking, that means they don't want to fucking speak to you anymore.
Right.
In the conversation, I don't want to speak to you anymore. Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Right.
Sure. You know what I mean? It's like this whole thing, like
Body language.
They're pretty much saying, shut up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Please leave.
Yeah.
But people don't catch on to those things. I have been a victim of that for sure. And I had to realize, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
You know, but because I grew up in a era where phones are a necessity now.
Right.
You know, there's a beauty in just not having that around, and then you being alone with your thoughts. Again, 90s people and 80s people, and before that, they were a lot more functional, and I think they knew how to talk to people a lot more because they didn't have that with them.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah,
man,
and
for sure, man.
I agree with you. I struggle with that in terms.
I do
of,
too.
in terms of friendship, right? Again, I don't have social media by choice, and I miss out on a lot because he tells me all these stories, but then like I'll see somebody and they're like, "Hey man, how come I don't see you on social media? Why don't we talk?" And I'm like, "Bitch, you have my phone number.
Yeah.
You can't call me. What's the difference between texting me and DMing me?"
Yeah,
I have a theory. That's why you don't see a lot of marriages nowadays.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people knew how to miss each other back in the day. Imagine being without your phone for hours and you just spoke to somebody you like went on a date or not that you really like, your crush, right?
Yeah.
Just say hi. Just say hypothetically, and you say, hey, let's meet at the movies at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
All right, and then
anticipation.
The anticipation, and then you go on that date and it goes well. You have that kiss, right? Whatever. It sounds corny, but that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
And then you go nuts the next day.
Yeah.
Thinking about them the whole night. Mm-hmm. You can't text them. There's no phone. You have a landline. Yeah. You could talk to them on the phone all day, but when you're not there and they're not there, you're left wondering if they didn't tell you. I wonder what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah, that's true, man.
You know what I mean? So I feel like technology has warped our mind again
big
for dating and for things like that. That's why people have options now. You can go on Tinder or Hinge, whatever it might be, and you could find a date that night, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, I guess that's cool, but not.
Now you
not really.
You got to court people. But back in the day, you had to court people.
You had to have game of some sort.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to have bravery to go up to somebody and be like, hey, so how do I start off this conversation?
Right, exactly.
You had to have this kind of like, I don't know, like you couldn't be a fucking nerd in person and then have game on the internet and then, or like you riz up this chick or something, whatever, right? And then like, it's going well, and then you meet her, and then she meets you, and you're this fucking nerd.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're saying. You're all like, timid and shit. And that happens a lot.
You're one person here, but a different person here,
and you're making a split personality of yourself. You know what I mean?
Like you guys were talking about when I first walked in.
Yeah. So for our listeners, this was our conversation in the control room, and because we were talking about like Black Mirror and all those things, and just how they connect to real life. And you're right, dude. Like even when I go home, like because of owning 3 businesses and doing all the things that I do, like but I hate it though. I hate it. So I always tell my wife, I'm like, we should have a basket, a cell phone basket that we come in and we put it there and we leave it there so we can like connect. And you know what I mean?
Dude, I'll be honest with you. My wife and we don't, it's not to that degree, right? But when I get home, I'm not on my phone.
And I
know, because I text you and you don't fucking respond.
I don't know where it's at half the time. When we go to dinner, just my wife and I. Well, I mean, period. Even with my kids, there's no phones at the table at all. But when my wife and I are at dinner together, nothing.
Yeah,
it's just, you know what I mean.
And another thing that we spoke about, never stop going on dates with your wife.
Oh,
never,
absolutely not.
Or there are people who you like that in that way. You know what I mean? Like if you get married at some point, just because you got them or you're married to them doesn't mean you got to stop doing those things that got you there in the first place. I think it's important to keep on dating them and to keep on doing those cool things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Just like jamming in a band. That's why we never stop.
Yeah, motivation is a big thing too.
And by we, I mean you. Okay.
No, man. You know what? Like, I feel like this has been a very deep, fun conversation, and I feel like these are the kinds of conversations you can only have with somebody like yourself.
Thank you.
Because you're not thinking like this, you're thinking like this.
Yes.
If that makes any sense. And just the fact that I feel that we can have these conversations, even though we barely know each other, like I feel this connection with you that I don't normally feel with a lot of people. That vibration that we were talking about last time is right there. So dude, like, I just want to say, like from the bottom of my heart, like I can't thank you enough for like just coming and spending this time with us and having these kinds of conversations, because
dude,
thanks for having me, man.
We've had you on our mind for like a solid month.
And it was all because I was like, dude, I met this dude.
Yeah, and he showed me your woo live on stage, and I was like, I need to meet this dude.
And normally I'm not like that. Normally I meet people all the time. People talk to me. It's like, yeah, cool, man, like whatever. But it was just like this. Yeah, I don't know, this connection. Like,
I'm one of Eric's weird friends.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing too, is that Eric doesn't like a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
and Eric was like, dude, like you got to meet, my buddy Marco. He's gonna help us out. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And Eric doesn't talk very highly about people, but he did talk very highly about you. So right away, I was like, huh. And then we started talking. It was like immediate, dude. It was like, I've known this guy for fucking ever.
Yeah, I got to tell you, man, I'm a people person, big time, right? And I'm a viber, right? If I don't get the vibe, I don't get it, but I'm cool with you. But what I'm trying to say is, man, is thank you for coming. Like Paul was saying, amazing experience, dude. I hope I have a new friend. I fucking love you, dude. Man. You're fucking awesome as shit,
Thank you,
man.
brother.
I hope we can do this again, definitely.
I would love to come back on, dude.
Dude, for sure.
Or start a band. I mean, whatever.
Me and Hector have a new band called Sword of Heaven. And Sword of Heaven, not like sort of, but sword.
Oh, okay.
A Sword of Heaven. That's like our Pelican, Isis, Enigma, a worship band.
Okay.
It's instrumental. Just me and Hector. And,
that's awesome, dude.
We're looking for somebody to drum, so we'll find somebody eventually. But that's on the horizon. I'm excited for that because the whole point of that band is to have like the opposite theme of what a metal band is. Has like a very angelic theme, a very heaven theme to it. Like all the song names are like angel kind of things.
Oh, nice.
But it's still heavy. It has, I think, a Sword of Heaven's a perfect name for the thing because, it has that attack. Like, it's still heavy, but it's beautiful.
Right, yes. Of course. Yeah, dude. I love that. That's great.
So Saberwolf, new stuff will be coming up hopefully sometime next year, early next year. And then Sword of Heaven, hopefully we'll be releasing that by the end of January or something.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What do you have? I know we're talking about how social media sucks, but anyways, speaking of that, do you happen to have for Sword of Heaven? Do you have a social media for that already?
I don't. I will be making it pretty soon.
Okay. But Saberwolf does, right?
Saberwolf does. Saberwolf has an Instagram and a Facebook. And yeah, man. I'm excited for those kind of things. I might be ready for my first MMA fight in May as well.
Yes,
so
dude, that's awesome.
In May, and so that's another thing that I'm looking forward to. It's kind of weird because I don't get nervous for. No, sorry, I get nervous for jiu-jitsu competitions.
Right.
I do.
Right.
But for fighting, I'm like, I can throw fucking chingazos here.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel like not even nervous. It's just excited about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Of course,
like,
yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Those are the things on the horizon for me. Yeah.
Do you want people to be able to follow you, or do you have it like? Is that more of a private?
A War Breeder is my Instagram handle. You can follow me if you want. If you don't, that's cool.
Is it just War Breeder back to back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
One simple word. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But follow Saberwolf. I'd greatly appreciate that. If it's not your cup of tea, that's cool too, man.
Awesome.
Really.
But for the people out there, Wolf is with a U, so SABREWULF.
Yes.
Yeah. Saberwolf.
Awesome, Marco. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it very much, man. Thank you,
guys.
We're done.
Yeah. All right. Are we?
Yeah, we're done.
All right. You're the one who finally said thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.